All right, my peeps, what's up? High five me. All right, hope you guys all doing well. And I may look funny because I'm all dressed up, but I look like I'm doing a presentation or something, or going to an interview. But I'm not. I'm here to talk to you, Mike. I'm not Australian. I just like making accents. Don't mind me if you hear some random accents come out of nowhere. But anyway, before I ramble on some more, let me tell you guys why you guys are here today. You guys are here today because I wanted to kind of tell you guys my story of my life, and along the way, I might as well update how I've been. And here, there are three reasons why I'm doing this. It's because the first reason is because I've been wanting to do this for a while. I meet a lot of people, and it's hard for me to talk about my past, and it gets repetitive to talk about it all the time. So I'm gonna kind of make a little video to kind of just give to everybody, or kind of just to direct somebody. Oh, you want to know about me? Here's a YouTube link. But anyway, it's pretty funny. Second reason is also because I've been wanting to put it on YouTube and everything. Since I do YouTube and since I do social media stuff, I kind of wanted to give a little, kind of give you guys a little more information about me and the struggles I'm dealing with, and that relates to how often I can consistently post YouTube videos. And if I'm not posting, it's due to a lot of things, and you kind of get up to date with the type of stuff I deal with. Third of all, kind of strange. The third reason is because I kind of want to make proof that I exist and kind of give everybody a story who Michael Thao is, aka me. My my YouTube channel is TippleMan, but my real name is Michael. This it's just brought me to a funny saying. There's this saying or this belief that if you don't like have an online presence, there's no proof that you existed at all. And it's kind of sad, but in this day and age, it's kind of true. Nobody knows you existed unless you are on social media. So that's what kind of brought me to make this video. So let's get started. So I'm going to give you guys a very simplified summarization of my life, and I'm gonna kind of skip through it, try to get through the whole thing as quickly as I can just to get to the update. This video is kind of just mostly to tell the story of my life and also to update on how I'm doing. And also I kind of make these videos once in a while to kind of mark a point in my life where I'm struggling, or kind of mark a point in my life just so one day, when I'm successful or something, I can kind of come back and look at it, and everybody can do the same. So let's start. I have a whiteboard. I'm just gonna kind of start in the beginning. So most of these things, it's a lot. It's pretty heavy. Just a warning, trigger warning for people with traumas and stuff like that. It's not too heavy, but it's a lot. It's pretty heavy. Every month and every year is its own story. So it sounds like a lot, and there are a lot, but I'm just gonna skim through it, kind of give you guys a bird's eye view, or kind of gives you guys the tip of the iceberg, right? And so yeah, let's. I've been rambling for so long. Let's just get started. So. Yes, I am TippleMan, as it says on my YouTube channel, but my real name is Michael Thao, and I am Hmong, which is spelled Hmong. Hmong people are basically a minority ethnicity within the Asian race, and we speak Hmong, so our language is spelled the same as our ethnicity. So we are Hmong and we speak Hmong. So, now with that being said, the introduction is done with. Let's start with how I was born. But both my parents met around Thailand, Laos, and Vietnam, around the area, right around the time the Vietnam War and stuff like that. But yeah, they met and then had one baby, which is my oldest sister, and then they moved over here to the US. They had the rest of us. In total, there are 6 of us in total, so 6 of us, including me, right? There are 4 girls and 2 boys. I'm kind of like the second youngest. And with that being said, with my parents, when they went into the US, they moved to California, and then they had me. I was born into a pretty loving family. Everybody was loving and everything is great up until the point where my dad ended up getting cancer twice. He survived the first time, but maybe a couple months later, he ended up having cancer a second time, and then he ended up passing away. But I don't know anything much about the stages or what kind of cancer it was. All I know was he ended up passing away in 2006 when I was 7 years old. After the death of my dad at age 7, this is where I became afflicted with depression and suicidal behaviors and thoughts. And at age 7, it was pretty heavy. And all my siblings, we all ended up getting depression and everything then too. So my dad's death ended up being the start of a long, long, long line of traumatic events. And after my dad passed in 2006, we ended up moving. The life insurance money that my dad left behind, we were able to buy a house. We bought a house in Sacramento. And then with having a new house and new everything, we kind of had to like learn to live without my dad. But my mom struggled really badly with that. And my mom ended up having a lot of trouble. And she grieved for months on end. And I remember as a kid, I had to go to the front yard just to be with my mom as she grieved and mourned my dad's death. So after months of that, my mom unfortunately slowly lost her sanity and she slowly became crazy, or she slowly lost herself. Then one day she reverted into her childlike mind and she started talking to a lot of guys and doing a lot of things, but she forgot that we exist. She ended up neglecting us and starving us. And sadly, it wasn't on purpose that I know of. It was mainly because, like I said, she was kind of like childlike now. And she was just having fun and forgot to feed us and forgot that we are human and we are kids. There's a lot that goes into it, but one day I will probably go into some more. But um, so a year or two of that, she ended up meeting an alcoholic, crazy Hmong guy, and he knew that my mom had a bunch of life insurance money, and he was basically a kind of like a con artist. So he kind of like played my mom, and then he ended up coming to live with us, and then long story short, after like a year, he ended up threatening my two oldest sisters at gunpoint to either be a slave and do everything they say, or he's gonna shoot them both in the head right now inside the house. This all happened when I was at school, so I didn't know much I've had. And the worst part is that my mom was holding the bullets because the hunting rifle that he had wasn't loaded. But my mom was holding the bullets and she was on board with it. At this time, we were all under 18, and my two sisters were only like 16 or 14. They ended up having to flee and leave us four younger siblings, and they ended up being taken in by my uncle, which is my dad's blood brother. So after they left, things just got worse and worse. And once my two older sisters were gone, we were basically left defenseless, and it was only us kids left, and we were all like 12 and under. This is where things kind of got like worse. We were neglected more, and we starved more. And I remember times where we would go to school starving, and the only reason to go to school was to eat, and we'd be so happy to wake up just so we could go eat at school. My mom would be gone for weeks on end, and we would walk to school every day, and we would starve and be neglected for for a long, long, long time. And things just got worse from there on out. And after a year or two of starving and being neglected, one day one of our relatives called the police and to come check up on us. And the police came and saw everything. And saw everything was really bad. They took photos, and there was a bunch of. It was a whole case, and there were so many cops. There were so many cops. The whole neighborhood came out, and everything was just so bad. Everything was very, very, very bad. So that night was pretty traumatic. And one day I'll tell you guys a story about that. But we ended up being taken by the police Valentine's Day, like 2010. Yes, it was Valentine's Day, and that night on Valentine's was when the police came and took us away, and then we were put into the CPS system. It's a foster care system. It's a CPS stands for Children Protective Services. It honestly was pretty traumatic. It felt like prison, not gonna lie. We were taken and put into a facility with gates and bars everywhere, and it was not comfortable at all. It was not welcoming at all either. It didn't feel like it at all. After a week or two of being inside the facility, my grandma, which isn't really my grandma, she's my real grandma's sister. So we just call her grandma. Well, my grandma found out and they adopted us. And fortunately, and we were so happy, and we ended up living with her for a couple months. And then we ended up having to move and transfer to live with my uncle. And so we moved after a couple months, moving away from my grandma and living under my uncle. My mental illness, depression, and suicidal stuff and everything got worse and worse, and it reached a peak during my sophomore year back in 2014. So it got really bad, and I ended up not having any energy, or I ended up suffering really badly and just struggling a lot. And for me, it was hard to get help. It wasn't like something we were comfortable talking about. It wasn't something that we could talk about. It was it was really difficult. But yeah, continuing on, after a couple years or so, my oldest sister ended up graduating college with a bachelor, and then she ended up turning 24 and was able to adopt us to live under her. And we were really happy at that point because we could all be together as a family and not have to worry about like being moved around or being adopted anymore. We're just happy to be kind of have a home again. We were moving so much at that point that we were just really happy to have to all to live together again. So we ended up moving out after sophomore year. We ended up moving into an apartment. But yeah, all this time while we were being adopted and moved a lot, our house that my dad left behind was being kept for us in the future. During that time, it was either empty or being rented out. So after my junior year, we decided that we wanted to go back to the house, even though there was a lot of traumatic things that happened there. So we all just decided we should go back. So we ended up going back and living there. So I finished my senior year living in the house that my dad left behind, and everything was going good. I graduated high school, and I was super happy. And I was trying to go into I was trying to go to college, but I was taking the reserve. I was taking the military route. I don't know why I did that. To be honest, I'm not gonna lie. I was low key just groomed to do that. I didn't really know what to do in my life, so I kind of just like followed what everybody else is low key doing, and I thought it would be good, but I could just went straight to college, but I didn't. So I ended up joining the United States Marine Corps, and I ended up going to boot camp. And the sad thing was I had to be shipped out to the military to the United States Marine Corps boot camp out in San Diego, 1 month before my graduation ceremony. So I never got to walk the stage, and I never got to see everybody ever again. All I did was finished high school and went to the office, grabbed my diploma, and I disappeared from that point out. Nobody else saw me again since then. But and I did get my diploma, high school diploma. So I ended up being shipped to San Diego to the United States Marine Corps boot camp out in San Diego. It's funny because it doesn't look like I ever joined the military or I was ever part of it. Because look at me, I have long hair and earrings and everything. But I did, and I ended up going for a month and a half. And in total, the boot camp for the United States Marine Corps was 9 weeks. But I failed miserably. All the mental illness, depression, and suicidal thoughts and everything all kind of caught up with me and hit me really hard. I was away from family and everything, and I never really got any help for my mental illness, and I never really acknowledged that it existed until that point. So halfway through the boot camp, I ended up not being able to continue on anymore, and because of that, I asked to leave, and I ended up being sent back home. So everything was just crashing down, and I didn't know what to do when I came back home, and I wasn't really exactly welcome back home because there's just a lot of things happening. But things got worse from there on out, and my mental illness and my depression, everything kind of got worse and worse. But yeah, after not knowing what to do for a little bit, I ended up trying to go back to school, and I ended up meeting a woman, and she ended up becoming my first love, and we ended up dating from that point on. So all that happened, graduating and failing boot camp and meeting my first love, all happened within 2017. 2018 went by quick, but then at the end of 2018, something really crazy happened. Um, there was a family dispute over the ownership of the house, and a bunch of other things happened. And I'm not gonna go into detail right now, but a lot of things happened, and sadly, we ended up losing the house, and they sold the house, and um, I ended up becoming homeless at age 19. And after that, I had to go live with my grandma again, and I asked her if I could live with her, and then I moved to live with my grandma, and after that I moved out to live with my siblings again, and after that my sibling and us couldn't really work together, and everybody kind of wanted to go on their own ways, so I ended up being homeless again and having to live with my sister. It was just really bad, and after that my sister was able to help us get an apartment, so I ended up getting an apartment with my other sister. So it was just me and my other sister and my other sister's boyfriend. So all that happened from 2019 to 2023. And at the end of 2023, we ended up moving out again. And that leads us to where we are now, this year, 2023. And at the beginning of this year, I ended up being homeless again. And I ended up being kicked out in a way and being homeless and having to ask around if I could live anywhere. With my life being pretty crazy and pretty sporadic, you're probably wondering how I keep becoming homeless and why I keep becoming homeless. And there's a lot of things that go into it. Sadly, it has to do with just bad circumstances. It's sad. No matter how much money I made, because I had made a lot in the past, no matter how much money I made or no matter how well I'm doing, I somehow end up becoming homeless every 2 to 3 years. And it's sad. I try really hard to try to live on my own, and it's just really sad to be homeless all the time. And to make it worse, my aunt, who is my uncle's wife, my uncle, the one who adopted us, she ended up passing away at the end of 2022. That impacted everybody a lot. And to make it worse, 1 week before the funeral of my aunt, me and my first love ended up separating. In total, we were together for 5 years, but a lot of things happened that I'll go into more detail later on. But yeah, that happened. We broke up a week before my aunt's funeral. But yeah, with a bunch of things happening, it leads me to now. But yeah, right now I am able to live with my little sister and her roommates, hence where I am right now. And yep, that's basically the end of the story. And that's everything. I try really, really, really hard not to go long because there's too much that goes into everything, and I don't want to drag it out. I don't want to keep talking. I mean, I don't want to make this video longer than it has to be. So yeah, that's my past. That's all that happened. It's a lot. Yep, it is a lot. Yep. Now let's go on to the update. To update right now, with everything that happened and my aunt's funeral and my separation with my first love and everything, I have never been in such a low place in my whole life. I was in a really low place when my dad passed away, but I was 7 years old. And now that I'm 24 and really bad things just keeps happening my whole life, it just feels like I'm cursed. And I know it's a bad mindset to have, but it just feels extremely hard to fight when no matter what you do, everything just gets worse and worse no matter what. And it doesn't feel normal at all. It doesn't. Everything feels really cursed. It feels like nothing is normal. This isn't normal, and damn it, it's not normal to become homeless over and over again, even if you work a lot. It's not normal to have an effed up childhood just to grow up to have an effed up adulthood. I guess my life nowadays, everything that happened, is just really bad. I'm struggling really badly with mental illness, and I try to get help, but nobody can help. Our therapists, they can't take me because they're overfilled, and everything's just bad, and inflation is extremely bad, and I can't even go out and live on my own. I can't even go out and make a life for myself without ending right back on the streets again. And to make it worse, let me show you. I have two cats, and I can't leave them. They're my kids. They are my only reason of living at this point. And I try not to be emotional, and I'm trying not to cry right now, but it's true. My two cats are the only reason I'm alive. And without them, I might as well be dead. I don't really have a lot. And it doesn't feel like I am loved, and it doesn't feel like I belong in this world, and it doesn't feel like I belong anywhere. And it's hard. It's hard to grow up like this, and it's hard to be like this where you don't belong anywhere. It's hard to be alone. And just to kind of give you guys a clue where I got my kids, where I got my cats. But Charm right here, she's 8 years old this year, and I got her when I was a junior in high school. Right after I moved out of my uncle's and was adopted by my sister. And but yeah, we got her from the wild. She was a stray. One of my sister's friend found her inside a truck's engine during the winter, and she was in there to stay warm. So we ended up taking her in. She ended up really liking me, and then followed me around and became my baby. And right here is Wayne. The name is pretty weird, but her name is spelled Weynie, and my first love named her. Me and my first love got her together, and we raised her together. But sadly, after our separation, I took her in. So now they're both mine. They're both my babies now. But yeah, with all this bad things that happening, struggling with mental illness and a bunch of other crap, right? Fortunately, I'm actually recovering, and I'm pretty happy about it. Things are actually getting better now. I know it sounds, it's pretty crazy. I'm an optimist at heart, but I know it got gloomy. It got pretty gloomy. It got pretty sad, and that's why I said everything was pretty dark and pretty heavy. But don't worry, because there's a happy ending, sort of. All the good news is that I am grateful for what I have, and I have somewhere to sleep. I have somewhere to eat. I have food to eat. I have somewhere to live, for my cats to live too, and some good things have been happening to me. And I feel like there's a turning point. This is a turning point because of mental illness and struggling to pay rent and struggling to have money all the time. I couldn't register my car for 2 years, from 2021 to 2023. I couldn't register my car because I couldn't really smog it. I wasn't sure it was gonna pass smog, and also there was like a bunch of things wrong with it. But anyway, good news is that because of not having smog papers, I was never able to register my car until a week ago, and I'm so happy about it. I was so freaking happy about it. It's small, right? It sounds small, but for me, it feels like a turning point. It's like I was so happy that I was able to like smog my car, and it passed smog. And the same day, like 45 minutes before the DMV closed, I ended up just last minute just taking my car to DMV, and then I registered it, and I had to pay a bunch of late registration fees, but I didn't care. I worked so hard and saved up enough money to be able to fix my car and smog it and register it. And I was able to do that, and I was just so happy. I was just so happy. I won't have to worry about getting pulled over by cops anymore and getting tickets anymore. And yeah, those are the good news. That's it. I'm pretty happy about it. I'm pretty optimistic about it. But I'm pretty happy that things are kind of turning good, you know? And that's the update. That's what's happening right now in the present. But in the future, okay, what I have for the future is I want to be a YouTuber until I die. Wait, no, that's not right. YouTube is my main goal, and it's the career that I want to chase, and it's the career that is best for me. Oh yeah, mark my words though. One day I'm gonna be super duper successful on YouTube, and I'm just gonna suffer until then, I guess. But it's okay. I'm excited though, and that's basically everything, you know. But yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks for listening to everything, and thanks for staying. It's pretty long, and I don't plan to do any of these again as much. I just know that for this type of content, nobody really goes on YouTube to kind of like watch somebody suffer, you know. And I just kind of wanted to give everybody an update, kind of give everybody a glimpse of my life, and kind of to put my story out there, so at least I know that if anything happens to me, there's proof that I existed. And yep. But yeah, thanks all. Thanks for watching. It's pretty long, man. Really. Oh my gosh. I'm so tired. Man, but it's pretty long, and I appreciate you all for listening. You know, if there's anybody out there who's going through like tough situations and stuff like that, like me, it's okay. You know, you're not alone. It will get better. It really will. I mean, just look at me. I'm still alive. And also, not just that, it's like it's the small things that kind of builds up to become a big thing. And for me, it's just getting my car registered and just getting smog. Something like that's enough to kind of start changing your life and rolling it towards a positive side of your life. But yeah, if you're suffering like me, just stick around for a bit more. Keep working hard, because people like you and me, we may suffer a lot, but that just makes it all the while more worth it when we succeed. But yeah, that ends everything. You know, this video has gone long enough, and that's everything. You know, if I don't post a lot, this is the reason. This is the reason why. Stuff I have to worry about. I have some mental illness stuff I have to work with. I also have to work with a bunch of life problems. But I really hope to see you all soon. You know, I really am excited about the future, and I'm excited to see you all. You know, whether it's on my TippleMan account, or my TippleManGames account, or my TippleMan Vlogs account, whichever one, you know, you can. I hope to see you all in that, in any of them. I hope to see you guys soon. And yeah, have a nice day, or night, or morning, and I'll see you guys all next time. Peace out, guys. High five. Wee.